Hi guys, what follows is a Brand X Reviews mailbag request video where I'm going to be doing a retrospective of the series. But if you want some news and information on the new series that they're going to be doing, or well, 6 episodes anyway, go about 13 or 14 minutes into this video because I will be covering that and some of the latest developments as of today, which is the 11th of May 2015.
Not bad. Hi guys, welcome to Brand X Reviews, and today I'm doing the latest edition of the mailbag section, which I haven't done for a couple of weeks, I think, anyway. It feels like it's been a while, so I had one come in just now off the Facebook page, so let's see what the question is. Let's see who's asking the question first. Now this one comes from Gavin Cope. Hang on, Gavin Cope? That name rings a bell. That's the core. You're a core reviewer on the website. You can't just send in mailbag videos. Just do your own video, for God's sake. What the hell? This is a really long question. I'm going to do it anyway, bollocks to it. But here goes anyway. Here's the question.
Right, okay, here's a question. In fact, it's so big, I'm going to have to get rid of the website address at the top of the screen because it's completely obliterated it, because you've kind of rambled on a bit with your question. In fact, it reads more like a statement, but I'm kind of taking the piss now. No, it's a good question. Here we go. With the announcement of a new season of The X-Files, reuniting the old cast and the release of the remastered episodes on Netflix, it's safe to say more people are taking note of this classic series. Recently I've started rewatching them myself from the beginning, and one thing that struck me is just how many classic episodes managed to stick deeply in my mind, to the point that I can clearly remember them even without it being over 10 years probably since I last saw them. Now, I know you've already done a video on your collection, so my question to you is, instead, are there any episodes that have specifically stuck with you? I don't mean a 10 list or anything like that. Instead, I mean episodes that come easily to mind when you think about the series. And if hypothetically you'd only seen the show once, and it had never been repeated or released to buy, episodes that you would still recall. As an example, my own list would likely feature the episodes Ice and Darkness Falls very prominently, but as we've clearly proven over many arguments over the years, our tastes when it comes to this show are very different, so I won't be surprised if you have a very different list to me.
So yeah, very good points there really, and I probably would be hesitant to do this video, maybe put it on the back burner, but recently there's been some developments with the new series of The X-Files, which I've been covering at Brand X Reviews quite intensely, I guess. And a bit like the FHM magazine, similar things, covering it intensely. And so really been wanting to kind of do an update on that for quite a while. So I think I'll just kind of get into your question first, and I'm going to talk about Series 10. I guess it's going to be Series 10. It's the last series was Series 9, so let's call it X-Files Series 10. So anyway, your question about the series, which episodes to me really stand out? Well, I know this is something, to kind of put this into context for other people watching this, me and the Core, or Gavin Cope as he's also known, have been friends for a long time. We pretty much met like on the first day of like primary school. And since then, obviously, we kind of grew up watching the X-Files and stuff like that. And his taste in some of the episodes and what he gets out of the show as an overall thing kind of differs to mine. I like the storyline with the government conspiracy, the aliens, the UFOs and stuff like that. We do tend to agree on it a lot, though. I mean, I do think that a lot of the problems with the show was that it started out basically like, kind of like Blair Witch, I guess. Not found footage, but just in the sense that it's scary what you don't see kind of thing. But after a while with a TV show, you really have to start cranking it up. And the only way you can do that with a TV show, particularly of one that spans over 9 years, you have to start showing people stuff. You have to start getting further into it. So the unknown factor with the X-Files, you kind of started to know things, but then they would tell you things and then take it away, which worked to a certain extent. But after 9 years of that, I think a lot of fans really got fed up. Now the Core, the guy who sent this question in, I know kind of tired of that a lot more than I did. I do still like those two-parters and the other kind of some of the standalone ones that they did that tied in with that. But I wouldn't say they're my favourite episodes. And I know over the years me and the core seems to disagree, but I think we do. I think generally we do agree. I mean, the problems with those episodes I'll agree with him on. But I think that some of the best episodes were the standalone episodes. Sometimes they were government conspiracy related ones. There was one called the Pine Bluff variant, which was episode 17 or 18, I think, of Series 5. It was one of the last ones of Series 5. Series 5 was one of the shortest seasons. It was only 20 episodes because it was the series that ran just before the movie. And that was a really great episode. That was one that stands out in my mind. It didn't really have anything paranormal. It was more to do with the government and some of their biological warfare stuff. Really one of the best episodes in my opinion. In my opinion as well, Series 1 was the best series. I mean, it was the most fresh in terms of ideas and concepts. At that stage, they hadn't gone into the alien conspiracy stuff. This was before Scully's abduction at the beginning of Series 2. Some great characters were in it back then, such as Deep Throat as well, who was he appeared in like the second ever episode, and he died right at the end of Series 1. And he was one of my favourite characters in the show. And they did kind of try to have characters like him after that, like Mr. X and Marita Covarrubias, the female character, like an informant, basically an inside person that can get information out that you don't know whether to trust them or not. But Jerry Hardin, who played the Deep Throat character, was my favourite. I think he was a lot of fan favourites. And some of the episodes, whenever he appeared in an episode in Series 1, those were some of the best ones. Episodes like Eve, that was such a great episode. That was another Series 1 episode where it was to do with genetic manipulation and that with human beings, basically, and the side effects. They became psychotic, that kind of stuff, and cloning, I guess. That was a really great episode. And there were some really good thriller episodes. Beyond the Sea, another one from Series 1 with I can never remember the name of the actor, non-name remembering mofo, but he was the guy that played the psychic in that episode, and he was on death row. And was it Lucas Henry? I think the name of the character was, or was it? No, it was Luther Lee Boggs. The killer was Lucas Henry in that episode. I don't remember the name of the characters, but yeah, he was really good. I think they actually paid that actor quite a bit more money to do that part in that episode as well, because he was such a great actor for that role. So such a great episode. That was when Scully's dad died and she saw a vision of him. So you had this kind of conflict with Scully, with her scientific beliefs versus what she's experienced. Also, she was undergoing a bereavement at the time. And then Mulder gets shot as well, and she was kind of forewarned about it beforehand, so she's kind of feeling regret for that. Such a great thriller episode, really good. And that bit at the end where the character that's on death row goes to the gas chamber and he sees the spirits of the people that he murdered, kind of watching him as he goes into the gas chamber. Really quite powerful stuff, and quite just creepy. I remember seeing that episode when I was like 13 or something, and it really kind of left an impression on me. Some of the great episodes in Series 1, such as Fire. I think that was the next episode after Beyond the Sea. Or was it the last one before? I can't remember anyway. But there was Eve, there was Beyond the Sea, there was Fire, and all those episodes were kind of in a row. Great episodes. Fire was the one with the guy who was a pyrokinetic, and he could manipulate fire. He couldn't start it. Well, he could start a fire, but he would kind of use accelerants and stuff that he would mix in with paint and things like that, so that he could, when he started a fire, he could get it just like burning really hot. And he was obviously a crazy guy. Such great episodes in Series 1. I could go through the whole series and just say, I mean, there's maybe a couple of episodes in that series that I thought were a bit weaker, such as, I think Space was one slightly more boring episode, I thought, and Roland, that was another one that I wasn't too keen on. I thought it was kind of boring. In some ways, I say from the context of a guy who's watched this series over and over and over again since it first aired like 20 odd years ago. So yeah, some of those are my lesser favourites from Series 1, but still great. Series 2, that was when they really started getting into the government conspiracy stuff. You had Scully's abduction, you had the return of Mulder's sister, with the Endgame Colony 2-parter as well, so they were some of my favourites. Kind of getting further into it, Series 3, at the end of Series 2 and into the beginning of Series 3, they brought in what was known as the Syndicate, and those are the kind of the old men that resided in New York. That cigarette smoking man wasn't just kind of on his own, he was part of a syndicate of people that were kind of like him, and he was kind of answerable to them, I guess. And that was one where there was a digital tape that had got some 1990s digital tapes. They'd got some government secrets hacked from a website or whatever, and this guy had downloaded them onto a digital tape, and this tape was kind of going about for quite a while into Series 3. You had all sorts of stuff happen there. Scully's sister got killed, big developments with that, and then some of my favourite episodes in Series 3, there was one called Wet Wired, which was to do with the use of subliminals electronically in television signals for TV sets and using them to make people kill. That was when I remember that I'd got somebody to tape off Sky TV, because back in the 90s, if you didn't have Sky, you would have to wait at least a year to watch these episodes after they'd aired in the USA. If you had Sky, you'd get them a few months after, so it wasn't too bad. But I remember Wet Wired was one that I got somebody to record for me off Sky. So that was one that I kind of got early. But that was a great episode anyway, and it ended up with Scully turning her gun on Mulder at the end because she sees these TV signals, and it kind of makes her go a bit paranoid and makes her want to kill, basically. It's sort of, anyway. Series 4, Series 5, those were the last ones that they were filming in, I think, Vancouver in Canada. After that, the film came out. But Series 4 and 5 had some great episodes, but I think after that point, they kind of went a bit too Hollywood, in my opinion. And they moved to LA for a number of reasons. And I know that this new series that they're doing, they are going back to Vancouver, from what I understand, anyway. I think the reason they do that is because there's a lot of areas around there that can double for somewhere in America, so there's lots of different places. I know it was the same with LA. I mean, they filmed it sort of in Hollywood, basically, the last series, from what I understand, or in that area, because there's a lot of areas that you can double for other places throughout the country, and that's why Hollywood is where it is, I guess. Well, partly anyway. They can make movies there, and for that reason. But Series 6 felt like it was getting a bit too silly, in my opinion. There were some really great episodes. There were some really great silly episodes, don't get me wrong, but it just felt like episode after episode was comedy episode, comedy episode, comedy episode, or just maybe slightly ridiculous. Which maybe it was a new direction for the show, especially after the film. Changed direction. It kind of continued into Series 7. Series 7 is my least favourite. I've just started watching Series 7 actually now. I'm kind of on that in my run. And that's when it really got silly. I mean, episodes like Ex-Cops were great. I mean, I'm saying they got silly. I do still like them a lot. But they were silly. And it wasn't until the end of Series 7 when they brought in the Doggett character, who I thought was great. And there were some really great episodes in that series. And then Series 9 it kind of ended and it kind of fizzled out. So if you were to say one of my favourite episodes, I would say just a concentration of episodes in Series 1. It had its moments throughout the series, but if I was to name some, that would be it. Especially Series 2 as well as Series 1. Episodes like The Host as well. Little Green Men, I loved that episode. Beginning of Series 2. So that's pretty. I hope that answers your question. I mean, I didn't want to. I could go on forever, just kind of rambling about my favourite episodes and why I like them and stuff like that. But you can see all documentaries about the show. I'm not going to kind of ramble on too much. What I'm going to do now is, now that I've answered your question, I'm going to get into some of the developments of the new series. So Series 10, essentially, I guess you could call it that. They have made a few announcements actually. In fact, today. It is the what's today's date? The 11th of May 2016, and it's quite a great date if you're watching the Fox network in America, because they've actually announced the cancellation of American Idol, the TV series, after it's been going for like 15 years. And on the day they've announced the cancellation of that, they've announced the air date for Series 10 of the X-Files, the new episodes. So they've got rid of a crap show. and they're bringing in a good one. So that's a good sign for television viewers. I mean, I don't watch television because most of it's just crap anyway. But the air date, the first episode is due to air on January 24th, 2016. So it's quite a wait. It's like 8 months away or something like that. So we'll have to be patient, I guess, with this as it develops, because they're starting filming the new series as of I think it's the 8th of June, and they're going to conclude filming on the 14th of August. So they've got just over 2 months of filming these 6 episodes. It's a shame it's only 6 episodes, but I'm hoping that the way that they do it, it'll work. It won't feel like you've been left short or anything like that. And hopefully, if they're successful, this will lead on to a new series. Because, like you say in your question, the success on Netflix of just the old episodes, people really watching them, and then they've kind of relaunched these high definition episodes, the first 13 episodes of Series 1 in high definition on Netflix as well. It's kind of a sign that the popularity of the show is like, if there's money to be made there and they can do this series, let's do it. So a run of 6 episodes hopefully will be successful. It could be like what they did with Red Dwarf a few years ago. Now that was a very slow process. They did this kind of a run of 3 episodes in 2009, and they weren't that well received, but fans, I guess, liked them. And then after that they did do actual full series of them. They did a full series, but they are doing more of Red Dwarf. So I'm hoping that's what happens with the X-Files. I'm hoping that this run of 6 episodes will lead on to other things afterwards, because the last thing that we saw from the X-Files was the movie in 2008, which is called I Want to Believe. Now, some of the people who went to see that film at the cinemas redubbed that name I Wanted to Leave, because it really wasn't all that great. And that's coming from me. I love the X-Files, and I didn't mind that film from my own point of view, but it wasn't a great film. And it also opened the same day as The Dark Knight, I think, in America. It didn't over in the UK, but I know if it had done, I know which one of the 2 films I would have gone to see that day. It kind of made up for some of the fizzle that the series ended on, did that movie. And it kind of developed some of the story and the characters a little bit more. But it wasn't a great place to leave it, so I'm really glad that they're doing these 6 episodes. Now, some of the reassuring things, I'm kind of rambling off on the side issue there. There is more news. The writers, Glenn Morgan and James Wong, who did quite well for themselves with the Final Destination film franchise, well, they started anyway. So they're quite well liked. They are writing these episodes. And also, unfortunately, Vince Gilligan isn't writing these. So Chris Carter is going to be the executive producer of this as well. I did have an article somewhere, I don't think I've lost it now. But that was kind of good news, I guess, on there, because they were good on that show. I know that Morgan and Wong worked on Millennium as well, which was a really great sister series to the X-Files. It was set in canon, in continuity with the X-Files. They kind of crossed over. If you haven't seen Millennium, check it out. I'll probably do a whole video on that separately at some stage. So that's news there now. The members of the cast that are returning. I'll tell you the ones that are returning first. Obviously, you've got these 2, Mulder and Scully. David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson are coming back for all episodes, all 6 episodes. Unfortunately, Robert Patrick, who played John Doggett, isn't coming back. The actor has said specifically he isn't doing this. He's doing other stuff. It's a bit of a shame, because I liked his character, but I think he was more in the series when they needed him. I don't think they need him for this. Especially with only being 6 episodes, you don't want to overcrowd it. So it is a shame that we're not going to get to see him again, but I think it's necessary. Now also, Mitch Pileggi, I think I've pronounced his name right, is returning as Walter Skinner as well, which is great, because he was in the last film as well, the I Want to Believe film from 2008. He only had a sort of a bit part in that, kind of comes in at the end. And also William B. Davis as a cigarette smoking man. God knows how he's in it, because he died he died a few times, to be fair, so let's not sweat that at this point, really. But those are the main characters that are coming back. I don't know about any of the others, like whether Krychek's going to come into it, the lone gunman, all of whom are dead. Hasn't stopped them returning in the past. So, no one ever dies on the X-Files. I know that was something that was always said when they were making the series. So that's all good news anyway. There isn't really much else. Like I say, I've gone through when they're filming it, when it's going to air, some of the cast that are returning, the writers, the producers. Chris Carter is producing, obviously, he said that. There are interviews that I've seen him speak, so some of the information that I've got has come from the horse's mouth. They're filming it in Canada as well, so it's like those first 5 series. Whether we will feel the effects of that when we're watching it, I don't know. But I think I'll pretty much leave it there anyway. I've rambled on for like nearly 20 minutes now, so I hope that these episodes are good when they do come back, and that it just, like I said, that it just leads to further in this series, because I think it does still have a place in popular culture. I mean, the supernatural will always be something that people will be interested in, and specifically when it's fictionalised like the X-Files, and it was done in such a great way. Now, I've done other videos about the X-Files at Brand X Reviews, so if you want to check those out. Some of the first videos I ever did, actually, were at Brand X Reviews. Were about the X-Files. In fact, the core, I think you had your first appearance on a Brand X Reviews video in an old X-Files review, the one where I was pretending I had a cold, and yeah, you'll see the video for yourself. Check that. I think it was part 3 of my X-Files retrospective that I did in late 2013. And also, we did a recent mailbag video where I was kind of talking about the series, but I've kind of updated that here by talking about like where we are in production with the new episodes. So I'll pretty much leave it there. There's nothing much else. I don't think I've missed anything else. So you wanted to know my favourite episodes, kind of giving you a lowdown there, and also talked about the new episodes. So for now, I'm going to leave it there. Do go to brandxreviews.com, because I don't just post videos like this. I do actually repost information and articles. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. There's a website. Just go to brandxreviews.com. There's a load of information there. In fact, at the end of this video, there's a kind of a tag at the end of it that will tell you where to go and what to look for in order to subscribe. So if you want updates on the X-Files, there's plenty of ways you can do that. And I do follow it daily as well. So if there's anything, I do tend to post. If there's anything significant with this and you want to know, you want to keep up to date, check out brandxreviews.com and subscribe to us, add us, like us, all that stuff. For now, I'm going to leave it there. So thanks, Core, for the mailbag submission. Next time, do your own goddamn video, Core. Thank you very much for watching. Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just so you know, for more news, reviews and retrospectives, you can like our page on Facebook, simply called Brand X Reviews. But as well as that, you can also subscribe to us on YouTube via this video. You can also bookmark our website, which is brandxreviews.com, which is pretty much a central hub for everything that I've just mentioned. So check that out, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.